Republicans are getting an earful from their own red district constituents over these Trump-Musk agenda items.
Why are we allowing an unelected person, Elon Musk, to make decisions on our government agencies?
I get it. There's a lot of people in this room that don't support what Doge is doing. But for the first time, we are making some progress.
Listen, when Joe Biden was doing stuff like
I will not cut your Social Security. It is a promise.
Not at war, and Donald Trump is not a king. He is not above the law. What will you do to make sure he doesn't defy court orders and make a stand for the Constitution and democracy?
it's not healthy for the Republic to have court orders that are not being obeyed.
I support Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency.
What you see there is civics in action. I've told you, the campaign season is over. Town halls are about governing. And for any representatives who take them seriously because they're up for election in the next 2 years, or actually think they want to know what their constituents think, this can matter. Indeed, you saw the softening of some language there about something very basic that led our show tonight, following court orders rather than defying them. But you have a conservative Republican in a conservative district telling everyone, well, yes, we should at least do that. Local groups are also putting up billboards for lawmakers who won't even step up and face peaceful civic questioning like I just showed you. Have you seen our congressman? Meanwhile, I want to play something important from Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski. For years, we have reported on the problem of money in politics, and it is generally, let's be clear, a nonpartisan problem. It afflicts both parties. We've done whole reports here and we had guests on, and I've told you about how corporate and Wall Street interests have too much, that is to say, more power because of their money than they would have just in a democracy that reflected what the public thinks. Here's a conservative, Lisa Murkowski, saying that problem has afflicted her party because people are afraid that Musk can use or abuse his money to distort elections.
It may be that Elon Musk has decided he's going to take the next $1 billion that he makes off of Starlink and put it directly against Lisa Murkowski. Everybody else is like, well, how come nobody else is saying anything? Well, figure it out. That's why you've got everybody just like zip lip, not saying a word, because they're afraid they're going to be taken down, they're going to be primaried.
Figure it out. We don't think Lisa Murkowski is a method actor. We think she was really reflecting how she felt. You could see some of her concern there as one of the few outliers who, she says, is not afraid of the primary or will face it if she gets one from Musk. She is describing a party that has been captured. Meanwhile, business leaders and others are grappling with how the Trump economic agenda and the tariff uncertainty is affecting their livelihood.
She's enjoyed owning a craft store, but with tariffs imposed by the Trump administration, she's about to hit a stitch in her business.
Georgia's
Middleburg Heights,
Northeast Wisconsin.
There's changes every day as far as the tariff percentages.
That's really bad for the consumer and obviously for the local business.
It's not easy to pinpoint which country's tariffs would hurt the most.
Tariffs are another added pressure in an already tough environment right now.
If I get hit with those tariffs mid-year, it's going to be an absolute killer on the business.
This is not some conspiracy theory spin that is going to trick people out of what you just saw there around the country, going through the lived reality of the Trump economic agenda. Meanwhile, we have new information from the Federal Reserve, which says the economic outlook is looking worse and worse, with growing inflation, a contrast to lowering the prices that Trump vowed in the campaign, less growth, and just the overall uncertainty. Wall Street is concerned, and those top tech companies, the so-called Magnificent Seven, as well. All right, not that Magnificent Seven, although let us know, Beat fans and viewers, if that rings any bells. But this is a term also used, of course, in the markets. Magnificent Seven is those 7 top tech stops. That's a mouthful. 7 top tech stocks, my bad. But they're all down in 2025. That's Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, the AI company, Amazon, Musk's Tesla, which crashed by many billions, Google and Meta. They are down, 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 which means their MAGA owners who made such a big bet that was often explained as their smart business plan, even that, by that narrow measure, didn't work. Donald Trump has cost these folks billions of dollars.
I think we have to stand for something. I'm not one of those people who thinks Chuck Schumer should resign or any of that kind of stuff. He's been a very effective leader, but he does not, I mean, and this is endemic in Washington, which as you know, I think is middle school on steroids, essentially. Smart, hardworking, and it's all about them. So the people in Washington generally don't have a good handle on what's going on in the base or in the country. And it's one of the reasons we struggle to win. So we really need to be outside Washington. That's where our message needs to come from. I do think the Democrats ought to be having town meetings, and I like this idea that's been floated, and I think it's where Democratic congressmen go and have town meetings in Republican districts, since the Republicans aren't doing town meetings. We've got to, and I've said this before on this show, we've got to be out there knocking on doors, and I don't mean the congressmen. I mean people running for the local offices and the DNC
which you have a track record on from Democracy for America. I mean, but you specifically on DFA and other efforts. Since you mentioned Schumer, let me play what he's saying. That's his side of the story, as well as his interview with Chris Hayes. Take a look.
Democratic leader Chuck Schumer explained his decision to vote for the Republican bill.
I think there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal.
There's only one choice to going along with it. Shut down. We have to pick the fights. Look, if our democracy is at risk.
It is at risk, yes.
Sorry, it is certainly at risk.
Well, do you believe it is?
But if
I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you believe it's a
Trump?
You think we're not there yet?
Well, I think we're getting there, and we have to be really vigilant.
Howard?
Our democracy certainly is at risk, and that was the fundamental mistake that I think Chuck made. He's a brilliant tactician, and let's not forget he's gotten all those judges through for Biden, who even out-appointed Trump in his term. But I don't think people from Washington understand what's going on in this country. I really don't. And you have to fight. You have to be willing to commit, and that's what I thought AOC was so good at. I think, you know, Bernie and I have had our tiffs over the years. We share the same state, but he's exactly on the message right now with this trip that he and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are taking. And we have to be like that. We have to be willing to show that we're going to stand up for people. And that's why Trump won. Trump convinced them falsely, because he lied every single day he was out there, that he was going to stand up for them. And they figured, well, okay, let's give it a shot. And, you know, we've got to be out there, and we've got to be at every door, and it can't be the same old from inside the Beltway, who has a different agenda, not a bad agenda for the country, but a different agenda. And the emergency agenda right now is for most Americans is, how the hell am I going to make a living? And Trump's making things worse.